The highways are bloody again with 40 deaths in 3 separate road accidents within 24 hours. The accidents occurred in Makenene, Awai and Bachenga on the highway linking Yaoundé to the east and west regions. Transport Minister has promised tougher sanctions including suspension of transport agencies involved in the accidents. Activities of the Cameroon-Nigeria Mixed Commission on the implementation of the ICJ ruling will be relaunched to ensure a smooth completion of the ICJ verdict. PM John Gote and the Special Representative of the UN Secretary General for West Africa and Sahel discussed on the modalities during an audience in Yaoundé today. Plus, Cameroon's readiness to host AFCON 2021 has been reiterated during the 6th session of the local organizing committee COCAN meeting here in Yaoundé. And these are top stories. Good evening and thanks for joining us on this edition of the 7:30 News with me, Gladys Tata.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly, and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
Welcome back. At least 40 persons have perished on the highways from 3 separate road accidents with 2 days on different highways in the country. Several others have been injured in the series of road accidents that occurred between the 4th and 5th of August 2021. The alarming situation has prompted the Minister of Transport, Jean-Ernest Massenangale Bibehe, to announce sanctions including suspension of transport agencies involved in these road accidents. Elvis Teke has more.
A painful, sad and bloody week on Cameroon's highways despite road safety efforts of the National Gendarmerie and the Ministry of Transport. The lives of 40 vibrant Cameroonians have been wasted on the highways within 24 hours. Several others have been injured, leaving relatives in agony and distress. The series of road accidents occurred on August 4 and 5 in Nyokon 1, Makenene subdivision on the Yaoundé-Bafoussam Highway. 2 people died and 28 others were injured when a bus of Charter Voyage collided with a lorry of Sino Hydro. Another transport bus of Avenue de la Cadei crashed into a semi-remorque of Sotrac, killing 16 people and injuring several others in Vogue-Insindi in Awai on the road linking Yaoundé to the east region. A sand truck collided with a bus of Solidarité Voyage, killing 22 people and injuring several others at Pont Olembe in Bachenga on the Yaoundé-Bafoussam Highway. Too much blood spilled in such a short time because of the recklessness of drivers and overspeeding. The alarming situation has prompted the Minister of Transport to announce tougher sanctions, including suspension of travel agencies involved in road accidents. In a release, he has called for prudence and the respect of the highway code, especially during this period of holidays. The condolence and comfort message of the government has also been extended to the families affected by the series of deadly accidents.
Under this press release from the Minister of Transport, which reads 40 people are therefore reported, as you have heard, to have died from 3 separate road accidents that happened on Wednesday, breaking Thursday on major highways, as you heard in the previous report. According to a press release from the minister, as you heard a while ago, Jean-Ernest Massenangale Bibehe, the first accident occurred at Nyokon, 1 near Makenene, when an interurban bus collided with a truck, leaving 2 people dead and 28 others injured. In another accident involving a lorry and another bus in Vogue-Insindi near Awai, 16 people died and many others sustained injuries. The third accident, which the nation woke up today, happened in Bachenga, claiming 22 lives. It came as a result of a hand-on collision between a bus and another truck transporting sand. While expressing sympathy to the families of the accident victims, the minister warns that transport agencies involved in road accidents will be suspended. And we also wish those in hospital a quick recovery. On to other news, the special representative of the UN Secretary General for West Africa and the Sahel, who also serves as head of the Cameroon-Nigeria Mixed Commission for the implementation of the ICJ ruling, says the activities of the Mixed Commission will be relaunched to ensure a smooth completion of the ICJ decisions. Chadian-born Mohamed Saleh Anadif Katir was speaking today in Yaoundé after an audience accorded him by Prime Minister Joseph John Goute. The audience was his first contact with Cameroonian authorities since his appointment on March 26th. Star Building correspondent Christian Che Atam tells us more.
Mohamed Saleh Anadif Katir, the new special representative of the UN Secretary General for West Africa and the Sahel, is also the new head of the Cameroon-Nigeria Mixed Commission for the implementation of the ICJ ruling of October 2002. His visit to Cameroon is the continuation of a maiden contact tour of countries in his zone of competence. The audience accorded him by Prime Minister Joseph John Goute was a platform for both men to discuss issues of common interest, top amongst them the Cameroon-Nigeria Mixed Commission.
I have discussed about the Cameroon-Nigeria Mixed Commission with the Prime Minister, who has been following the process from the start. We hope to hold a session of the Commission to complete the great work which has already been done. This needs to serve as a reference of peace resolution of conflicts in Africa by Africans.
The new special representative of West Africa and the Sahel counts on his vast experience to help wrap up activities of the Mixed Commission. Mohamed Saleh Anadif Katir has served in several peace processes in Africa and has once headed the UN Multidimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in Mali.
Away from the Star Building, development partners who contribute to the national budget of Cameroon through budget support programs have hailed the ongoing implementation of public finance management reforms of 2019-2021, such as the decentralization process. This was during the 9th session of the Steering Committee Platform for Dialogue on Public Finance Management, chaired today in Yaoundé by Finance Minister Louis-Paul Motazi. Ewane Epole has more.
Meeting in Yaoundé during the 9th Steering Committee of a Platform for Dialogue on Public Finance Management, chaired by the Minister of Finance, development partners who contribute to the National Budget Support Program, notably the European Union, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and African Development Bank, hailed the ongoing implementation of public finance management reforms of 2019 to 2021.
For 3 years now, we have been able to ameliorate the project on the finance law. The National Assembly and the Senate have been very much involved in the preparation of the budget as part of the reforms, as well as the acceleration of the decentralization process.
The government officials, development partners, and the civil society also noted that despite the COVID-19 pandemic that slowed the implementation of some reforms, progress has been made in curbing the mismanagement of public funds, upgrading salary for civil servants, rationalization of public spendings, and stimulating macroeconomic stability.
Reports from the Sangmelima-Weso cross-border shows that less than 5-kilometer tarring is left on the Cameroonian side of the road linking Yaoundé and Brazzaville. The lifting of some constraints which slowed down work on the Sangmelima-Bikola and Bikola-Jum lots gave a boost to the speed of execution of these works. The details in this report with Joyce Kimbi Forwajo.
Less than 5 kilometers long and work on the Sangmalima-Bikola Jum lot will be entirely tarred. Obstacles linked to the non-release of rights of way and non-compensation have all been lifted.
Le préfet Dialobo nous a appelé, nous a indemnisé pour la route.
The SDO of the Jar and Labor has compensated us and asked us to quit soonest. My uncle and I have acquired a piece of land far from the road to construct another house.
Sangmalima Jum will thus join Jum Mintom Lelentam entirely done, with the necessity on some spot for clearing. The municipality of Mintom is showing an example.
During holidays, we use students to clear roadsides from Sangmelima to Weso.
Local residents and users are already enjoying the fruits of the investment.
Now that the road is tarred, our plantains and bags of foodstuff are easily bought by customers from the borders.
If the construction companies keep to their words, then from next November, one can take off from Sangmalima in Cameroon and travel to Weso in Congo on completely tarred roads. The only caution will be paying attention to overspeed due to the comfort of the road.
Regional and local authorities in Cameroon have been called upon to take initiatives which put arts, culture and heritage at the service of the sustainable development of their territories. The call was made today in Yaoundé at a press declaration made by the Minister of Decentralization and Local Development to launch activities which will culminate in the commemoration of the 10th African Day of Decentralization and Local Development. The day will be commemorated on August 10, 2021 under the slogan, "The Contribution of Arts, Culture and Heritage in the sustainable development of African cities and territories." Here's an excerpt of the declaration of George Elanga Obam.
This theme sounds like an appeal to regional and local authorities to assume their role in the fields of arts, culture, and heritage. The General Code of Regional and Local Authorities affords interesting perspectives that they should seize to preserve their identity, develop tourism, and foster the economic development of communities. On the verge of the organization of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations in the country, the hospitality of our regions and cities to guests coming from Africa and worldwide will be greatly dependent on how efficient the management of their functions are in the arts, culture, and heritage tripod.
Since the creation of the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development in Cameroon, the decentralization process in the country has been fast-tasked. Ebenezer Akanga reports on the missions and some of the achievements of the ministry. Ebenezer?
Created by Presidential Decree of 2nd March 2018, the Ministry of Decentralization and Local Development is in charge of drafting, monitoring, implementing, and assessing government policy on decentralization and promoting local development.
We do have a central administration here in Yaoundé that is divided in two main parts. There is one part that is to take care of the current administration of the ministry, and you have another part who is in charge of accompanying the local and regional authorities.
3 years after its creation, the ministry is achieving its mission of fast-tracking the decentralization process pretty well. Some of the achievements are the drafting of the General Code of Regional and Local Authorities enacted into law by the head of state, and the election of pioneer regional councillors, which came to complete the acceleration of the decentralization process in Cameroon.
We are, I can say, well organized to accompany the movement of decentralization, and we are doing our best to make it visible.
The decentralization process has undoubtedly been given an impulse with the creation of the ministry. The task ahead now revolves around local development.
The Circle of Friends of Cameroon, CERAC, with Mrs. Chantal Biya, its founding president, has officially handed over to the state of Cameroon to the Yoko District Hospital, rehabilitated and equipped by its members. The retrocession of the renovated hospital and gifts to rural women, youths, and some vulnerable persons in the Mbamankim division took place in Yoko and was chaired by the personal representative of the First Lady, Mrs. Chantal, Mrs. Felicite Betty Asomo. Charles Anyangwe traveled to Yoko and put together this report.
These are members of the Circle of Friends of Cameroon who contributed towards the renovation and the equipping of the Yoko District Hospital. The CERAC delegation braved the bad roads from Yaoundé to Yoko to officially hand over this renovated and equipped building to the Cameroon government. I want to thank Madame Chantal Biya and members of our organization, CIRAC, for this gesture and promise to maintain and put all into good use. The brain behind the gesture is the founding president of CIRAC, Chantal Biya, who was hailed by her personal representative, Félicité Betty Assomo, during the retrocession ceremony. Madame Félicité Betty Assomo, the mayor of Yoko and the director of the hospital, described Madame Chantal Biya as a mother who has dedicated her entire life to support the underprivileged in Cameroon. The CIRAC delegation also came with gifts from Madame Chantal Biya, made up of food items and agricultural inputs, which were handed over to some 15 female non-governmental organizations in the entire Mbam and Kim division.
We have been hearing about CIRAC over the radio. We did not know that we will ever have the opportunity to benefit from the organization. Today is our turn. I'm very grateful.
The humanitarian gesture of the First Lady was also demonstrated through the donation of a large consignment of school materials to assist vulnerable children in the division as they prepare for the new school year.
Desertification is hitting hard on the North region, with 40% of its land expanse said to be at high risk, worsening due to its location on the Sudano-Sahelian belt. Increasing temperatures and increasing soil productivity are some of the consequences exacerbated by natural and man-made factors such as erosion and deforestation. Luisa Akwanka Chato tells us more in this report from Garoua.
The greenery adorning the landscape of the North region is a welcome sight for its inhabitants during this period of the year, lasting an average of 3 months annually. Beneath this lushness is an all too glaring evidence of the intensification of the desertification process the region is undergoing. Over 40% of its land expanse at high risk as per experts. A wide sweep of its landscape is bereft of much needed trees, vestiges of most reforestation ventures thwarted by insufficient follow-up and worsening aridity. Wanton tree felling without properly coordinated tree planting efforts is among the most prominent anthropogenic precursors to which denizens resort, citing the expensive nature of other environmentally less damaging fuel options, such as domestic gas. Derivatives of firewood, including sawdust and charcoal, are equally in high demand, with the most visible consequences being erosion and soil degradation. The hope inhabitants express is that sustainable solutions be sought and implemented effectively for environmental conservation within the region to be worthwhile.
Preoccupied with the effects of climate change that has brought rapid desertification to the north, public officials and development partners have been carrying out several actions to check the phenomenon. Among these actions are massive sensitization campaigns on tree planting and a host of other environmental-friendly activities. Our North Regional correspondent, Wilson Mengole, reports on the effects to make the region green again.
The North region is ecologically fragile, characterized by floods, droughts, wide winds, and a host of others. Experts hold that industrial activities and the felling of trees on a mass scale for the production of charcoal and other activities have made the population the greatest losers. It is against this backdrop that the government and its partners have stepped up programs to carry out reforestation.
The situation is still very, very critical. Precipitations, winds, and so on. Inundation that people are witnessing linked to this climate change.
The people have been embracing these programs with enthusiasm within their communities.
We are doing a program of tree plantation, which is very huge, and that is the first aspect of our intervention in the deforested zones, urban area, and also on the streets in order to alleviate the problem of this climate change.
Officials of the North region emphasize that their goal is to make the environment green again.
I urge you once again to put on your face masks, to wash your hands regularly and to consult a physician or any other health personnel if you notice any symptoms. This is the only way to save lives and to curb the spread of the virus.
With the vaccination campaign against the coronavirus ongoing in the 10 regions of the country, the wish by most Cameroonians is to find out where we are with regards to the vaccination exercise in Cameroon. Let's join Baldwin Salma at the Public Health Emergency Operations Center with his guest, Raoul Nembot of the National Immunization Program. Hi, Baldwin. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Gladys Tata. It continues nationwide, this vaccination against the coronavirus, with many Cameroonians anxious to know some of the latest statistics as to the number of Cameroonians so far who have been able to have themselves vaccinated in the different regions of Cameroon. Let's discuss that tonight with Raoul Nembot from the National Immunization Program. Good evening to you, Raoul Nembot.
Good evening, Sama.
Explain to us what are the latest updates from the National Immunization Program concerning this vaccination against the coronavirus in Cameroon.
Okay, thank you, Sama. Since the introduction of vaccine against COVID-19 in Cameroon, we have today about 350,000 persons who benefit to vaccination. Now, in the region level, the Far North is the first region where we have the most people who is vaccinated, followed by Central region, and North region, and East region.
And which region happens to be with the least number of persons who are vaccinated?
The first region is Far North.
The region with the lowest number of persons vaccinated?
Southwest region. The South region and South region. But in the coverage, in the South region, even though is the few persons vaccinated, the coverage is high.
Thank you so much, Raoul Nembot from the National Immunization Program, for all those details. Good news for regions like the Far North, the Center regions, with this increase in the number of persons who have been vaccinated against the coronavirus, with the clarion call from the National Immunization Program, which remains the same, encouraging Cameroonians in the 10 different regions of the country to have themselves vaccinated against the coronavirus. Back to you, Gladys Tete.
Thank you very much, Baldwin Sama. Small and medium-sized enterprises in the Southwest region have been urged to register with an accredited management centers in order to benefit from support and advice that can enable their enterprises become major economic structures in the future. The statement was made by the Minister of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Handicraft and Social Economy, Achille Basilikin-Trois, in Limbe today, while launching a campaign to educate owners of small and medium-sized enterprises on the benefits of accredited management centers. Details with Henry Mekole of CRTV Southwest in Boya.
According to experts in financial and economic issues, the economy of the country has been suffering for the past years. The situation, they added, was further compounded by the advent of the coronavirus in 2019. To go by the Vice President of the Federation of Accredited Management Centers in Cameroon, Madame Malice Njinga, several small and medium-sized enterprises have been seriously hit because they could not withstand the economic difficulties that the country has been sailing through. According to the Minister of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, Handicraft and Social Economy, Achille Basilikin-Trois, SMEs that have closed down or that are facing serious difficulties could have gotten help from accredited management centers, with support and advice in the area of taxation, accounting, finance, amongst others. With such support, many SMEs would have survived the ongoing economic difficulties, the minister emphasized.
One of the reasons why we believe that this campaign was necessary in this region was to deepen the formalization of our economy, but beyond that also ensure that we enlarge the fiscal base of our economy and also improve on the traceability of operations from economic actors.
The hope of the minister is that SMEs in the southwest region will fully adhere to the centers in order to benefit from their support and to move ahead the economy of Cameroon.
Well, before we continue, this brief from the Ministry of Defense, which has refuted documented allegations by an NGO, Human Rights Watch, that defense and security forces in the northwest and southwest regions have been involved in rape, murder, execution of civilians, looting, and other human rights abuses. According to the press release issued today, the Ministry of Defense says these accusations are unfounded, adding that the NGO's current judgment, just as previous ones, are all geared towards discrediting the defense and security forces who are committed to their sovereign missions of restoring peace in the crisis areas, while promising to sanction what it describes as established and verified deviations in accordance with the law. The Ministry of Defense says the accusation on defense forces have not in any way weakened their morale. And since the news of the death of Nkoti Francois went viral, kin and kindred of his birthplace, Susa, in the Mungo division of the littoral region, have been expressing total grief. Most of them salute the legacy left by the multi-dimensional icon and says he leaves a vacuum that no one else will be able to fill. Alphonse Abongwa Achu traveled to Susa to take pulse of the hours after the death of Nkoti Francois.
The sun has set on the Bonaberi Susa village, Fico subdivision. A noble son of the soil, Nkoti Francois has journeyed home to join the ancestors.
Nkoti Francois was a great man, a personal resource and political leader. We are very sad.
His kin and kindred in the village cannot fathom this sudden demise. Nkoti Francois was a unifier. The former mayor of the Bonalea Council left an indelible footprint in the area. His mayoral successor and residents of Susa will not forget his legacy. We have had roads that link Susa and Nkake, Mwampaki, etc.
Nkoti Francois was a builder.
Nkoti Francois had started this construction project of his new house just adjacent to his main residence with the goal to later transfer therein. Death has brought this dream to an unfortunate end.
And in our special discovery page, My Beautiful Cameroon, we take you to the Bafoussam Palace Museum. The architectural complex, vast holding of paintings and antiquities, makes it one of the most prestigious museums in the country. Visitors will be stunned by the monumental entrance of this palace, as old as the prehistoric times. Go Henry takes us on this discovery trip.
In the heart of the city of Fumban stands an infrastructure that fascinates with its original architecture and the unique in the world. A pool of wonder located next to the royal palace, a whole anthology of treasure and symbols. Bamum arms, which are a two-headed snake, a double bell gong, and a tarantula spider. For those initiated into the local cosmogony, the spider characterizes wisdom, the two-headed snake force of the Bamums on several fronts. The Fumban Palace Museum tells a pattern of glory and a conservation of history and a transmission of treasures dating back over 600 years. Built around the original idea of Sultan Bombon Joya of the 19th dynasty, it is a space that guarantees dreams with over 12,000 art objects, war trophies, and the relics of Ishari Yen. Apart from the one cultural festival, the Royal Palace, the City of Arts Fumban, has a museum that attracts visitors from far and near.
Well, that was the Fumban Palace instead of the Bafoussam Palace, as you heard the report that just went on there. And we'll be talking sports to talk on the members of the local organizing committee of AFCON 2021 who have reiterated Cameroon's readiness to host the competition, likewise the draw ceremony. And they made an evaluation. They were making an evaluation of all competition sites today in their 6th session in Yaoundé. We have details with Romeo Kenyi.
The draw of AFCON 2021, slated for August 17, will ostensibly be a litmus test of Cameroon's aptness to host the continental showpiece. In this 6th session of the local organizing committee, Professor Narcisse Molekombi picks out patriotism and diligence as watchwords for members to get work adequately done. Mayors of host cities have been cautioned to keep municipalities clean, as proxies of all 24 participating teams will tour different sites after draw, with transportation assured and liaison officers on duty. All 5 regional governors of host metropolis have presented balance sheet of readiness with site coordinators handed framework documents of 190 pages.
In terms of the sports infrastructure, we are ready. The hotels are equally there. The West region is transformed with the roads, and we have a very new hospital that is going operational and will be able to handle the health needs of actors, be they the players or the spectators. I think globally we are ready.
Kokan's Communication and Marketing Commission has been tasked to brandish towns in prelude to draw date, with Fcfa assigned to overlook Lions fitness prior start of tournament.
And on to our countdown series to the draw of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations. Tonight we focus on how the World Football Governing Body FIFA and the Confederation of African Football CAF appreciate the venue of the draw ceremony. After repeated visits to the Yaoundé Conference Center, they say it is just the ideal venue for such an event of international standards. We have details with Baldwin Sama.
They have all been seduced by the beauty of the chosen venue to host the draw ceremony come August 17. Both the World Football Governing Body FIFA and the Confederation of African Football CAF, after separate visits to the Yaoundé Conference Center, are satisfied with its uniqueness and available facilities.
I'm very, very happy what I have seen. This is a really fantastic venue. I'm very happy to have a great support. Thank you also to the tournament director and all his commissions, and I'm sure it will be a great draw here.
The Yaoundé Conference Center, they say, remains the ideal venue for the Confederation of African Football, given its different working sessions before and during the ceremony.
In due course, we will definitely bring other people from protocol, from marketing and so forth, just to have a look at the facility. But you can see it's a very impressive facility.
Days to the draw ceremony, both FIFA and CAF are confident that the ceremony at the Yaoundé Conference Center will be one for many countries to emulate.
Well, join Romuald Chuisongok at 8:30 for the news in French, and you'll be in the company of BrigadeAntiSardinard as from tomorrow for the weekend news. I'll be back on Monday, same time. Until then, have a pleasant weekend. Good night.
Despite our efforts, COVID-19 plunged many families into mourning and seriously hampered the functioning of our economy and society.